Boom. We are live.
Happy Friday, everybody.
You're so funny. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me on my Filipino Hustle Fridays series. Marvin, thank you so much for joining me for my 32nd episode. Really excited to have you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
During our pre-show prep, I know is quite the conversation. I'm excited to talk about your story. Before we dive in, I want to give everyone a quick intro about you to get an idea of who you are. So Marvin Gabriel is a cinematographer and the founder of the Others Focus Media, a creative production company known for its bold visual storytelling and documentary style work. Driven by a passion for capturing real moments and amplifying underrepresented voices, Marvin leads a team that blends technical expertise with a strong storytelling approach to produce impactful visual content across film, branded media, and social campaigns. His work is rooted in authenticity and purpose, using the power of story to inspire connection and drive meaningful change. Thanks for hopping on today.
Wow, what an introduction.
Well, I have a wonderful team.
My website?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they took it from your website.
Huh?
It's possible that they got it from your website or grabbed pieces of information.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
All your channels.
Website.
Could be ChatGPT too.
It could be. But yeah, thanks for having me. How are you? Happy Friday.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. You're a busy traveling videographer, cinematographer, documentarian, and doing a lot of generous things for the Filipino community. That's how I found you when you did I believe it was a docu-style type of video reel for Kaya in Orlando, right?
Yes.
And thanks to you, I never heard of them until I saw your video. I scroll through and I get lucky and I see a Filipino entrepreneur that shared a video on social media. And then I usually push your profile or a profile that I see and say, hey, let's see if we can get them on. And of course we made it. I don't even remember when we reached out to you. Has it been like since earlier this year?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 months, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And I'm glad you're representing the Bay.
Yes, sir.
49ers. So you're now in Virginia, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you have San Francisco Bay Area roots. Let's go back to, California.
So I was born in SoCal, I believe. My mom came here from the Philippines. I was born in SoCal around the big earthquake time. After that, we moved to the Bay Area. She told me we grew up around Mountain View. I don't know if you know where that is for a little bit.
Yeah, that's where Google is.
Yep. Mountain View for a little bit. After that, Milpitas. Then San Jose, Milpitas, San Jose, Milpitas. So the Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the big earthquake was 89. I remember it pretty vividly.
Right.
So you were probably born around the time. You don't have to say your age.
But a little bit after that, they were just like, we got to get up north. And that's how I think a year after I was born, we just moved straight up to the Bay.
So it was military, right? That brought you over to Virginia? Like what? Yeah. So when did you start your business? Like, did you kind of start after the military or did you dabble with some contract work beforehand?
So I did dabble with contract work beforehand, and it was at a very small scale. I started doing video work back in 2018, 2017. And it was around that time where I just started and I was filming on an iPhone. And at that time, I was just exploring a new passion, a new thing to get involved or immersed in, because I mean, back then I didn't really have what I would call like an identity in a hobby until I found filmmaking, because I was trying to do a whole bunch of other things. I was trying to be like this fitness guru. I was trying to be like this healthy, athletic guy. And I still do that now. I think that just became a part of who I am versus where I find my identity in being a filmmaker or a cinematographer. But it started around 2018, and from there, I was filming small restaurants, doing social media content, and it wasn't the best kind of content, but I felt like it was the dope. In retrospect, I was like, oh my God, cringe. But you know, that passion moved me along all the way to where I'm at now. I think what 8 years later, 7 years later, into a full blown production company owner and you know part-time freelancer.
That's awesome.
How do you be a part-time freelancer of your own production company? Yeah, that works because I have my own jobs, and then when people want to contract me, I'll go get contracted.
Yeah, sometimes it starts that way, and then sometimes there's fractional opportunities. That's part-time. You know, they call them fractional CMOs, fractional consultants, that kind of thing. And you have been creative. Probably, how'd you know that you started getting into like this whole world of film and video? That you've always had an interest, but you wanted to be more serious about it?
Right. So I'm glad that you asked me, because when I was telling you how I got into it, a part of me was saying I can't deny or omit what really got me into it. So like I said, I was going through a point in life where I was trying to find something that I really wanted to do. And I came across this one video by another creator. His name is Andy 2. Andy 2. He's from East Oakland, California. And I had just bought an iPhone, and I was looking for videos on how to make iPhone videos better. And I came across this video, San Francisco iPhone 10 cinematic video. I watched that video, and it resonated with me so much because the video was pretty dope. And the story that he had behind it was pretty much create for the sake of creating and not being afraid to create. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just create for the sake of creating and just create what I want to capture and what I want to emit. But even more so, I had just came back from a missionary work in the Philippines, Thailand, and Cambodia, and I was doing a bunch of work with my iPhone. And at that time, I was telling myself, okay, you know what, God, if this is something that you really want me to do, make it plain, make it easy for me. I said, I'm going to put this at your feet, and I'm going to give you all the glory in this, because I don't want this to be my idol, if you will. So I said, Lord, if this is it, make it plain. I came back to the States, and everything was just coming to me like falling into my lap. My friend said, hey, you know what? I see you're super passionate about this. Let me give you my camera for a couple of months so you could practice with it, use it. That got me a few gigs, and then I started earning a little bit more of my own money, bought me my own camera. From there, it just multiplied, and I said, all right, God, this is it. This is where I'm going to be, and I want to do this for your glory. So that's also how my name came about for Others Focused Media. There was a sermon that my pastor was talking about how we need to be others focused. And he said something along the lines of, you know, when it comes to being a light in this dark world, you need to be others focused. And he's like, you know, yeah, with the camera, you're pointing the camera, you got to be others focused. I said, you know what? That's pretty dope. I'm going to make that my business name, but I never executed on that until maybe 5 years later. And that's how that name became. So the root of it is really sharing other people's stories, and in those interactions, being able to share other people's like testimonies, and honestly share my own personal testimony with the people I interact with.
That's great. I'm so glad you answered that question that I didn't think to ask, really, because I love the origin story of that. And it really ties in with your overall goal and mission and vision. So right. Yeah, and you have so many videos you share with me. I want to make sure, like, I mean, we won't necessarily focus on the audio part, but at least play it and then maybe talk about the different stories. Yeah. You know, did you, like, in what year did you create this? This is really nice. Let me make sure that I share this, but you did. Let's hop into it right here. Your lovely wife, and looks like you guys did a nice little, I mean, that's awesome. Look at that shot.
Yes.
And she just made you some nigiri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
wow, look at that.
this video, Vigo Spain Till Death Do Us Part, this was during a time where my wife and I were in a long distance marriage. I actually met her while I was in the Navy and on deployment, and we met in Spain. And after meeting in Spain, I didn't tell her I was in the Navy until like a month later, because all we were doing was just emailing and texting each other through Instagram. Then I told her I was Navy, and then at the time, we probably had about an unknown amount of time left on our deployment, so we got extended. We never knew when we were going home, but we found out they were going home. And then after that, we were planning to see each other, meet each other for as much as we can. And I think this was one of the trips after coming back from deployment and then meeting her again. Right?
Oh my God.
So the first time I proposed to her, and then I think the second and third time, this was us just exploring, and this was our reunited moment, right after being long distance for so long. And that opening shot where you see me in my dress whites and my wife in her was our own little personal way to have, if you will, a ceremony for us getting married.
Aww.
We decided to take those photos and on some oceanside in Spain. And
wow.
Yep. I mean, it all ties together because while I was deployed, we were maintaining communication, and I think we got married through this third party that is active duty members who can't physically marry their fiance. So in order for us to, really make it official for us, we went on this trip right here. She's wearing my Navy cap right there. We got lost. That means we're screwed. Yeah. We got lost. And it looked like we were going nowhere.
Oh my gosh, I'd be scared.
This is where the climax of that video was.
Wow.
So, if that makes sense.
I mean, the shots are amazing. So did you have all your equipment?
No. This is just iPhone. I'm glad that you say this is amazing. This is kind of like vloggy style.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of this to just kind of, what's the word? Not
like behind the scenes.
Yeah, not consecrate. All of this to really make our commitment to each other official by taking our.
Oh wow, I love that.
Yeah, we did our vows. We did what any normal wedding would do on this hilltop.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's special that you captured all that.
I did that.
How'd you do that?
Yeah, that was my drone.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what year was this? When did you do this?
That was 2022 or 23.
Okay. Yeah, that's like I feel like you improved really quick for starting in 2018.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, I'm very particular. I don't just compliment anybody.
Thank you, because if you're seeing that, I mean, with as much humility as possible, I can say that there are better videos than what you just saw there. But yeah.
I know. I mean, I see some, was this when you snuck into the 49ers locker room? Was that?
Oh yeah, that was before the Navy. And that was my last day working for Cinematographer at the time. Yes. Oh, dude. Yeah, you got to run that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're not playing the audio because I do like how you can talk about the story. You did the editing yourself?
On this, yeah. And this was actually, that's KB Bourne Polly, Kendrick Bourne Polly, or Kendrick Bourne. Forgot who that was. We got Richard Sherman. This is my last day working for the Niners. I was like, all right, I'm going on to bigger and better things. Not that working for them was not great, but I was just working in merchandise at the time. I took my camera, I used the uniform that we wore, and I, just kind of walked around as if I belonged. And
that's great.
Yeah, look, right here, I wanted to get a picture of Richard Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, some guy was like, "Do you have a
Somebody look.
credential?" You could see I'm dressed up like a 49er staff member with
Yeah,
my
yeah, I
laptop.
did. I saw that part. You're like, you know what? It was worth it.
But that just goes to show, and I want to say this, that when you love what you do and you do what you love and you end up finding, what is it? You end up finding a way to get to where you want to get. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to film for the Niners, and I did unofficially, in a sense, for my
Mm-hmm.
own.
Yeah.
I played the part. And the funny thing is about a camera is if you play the part, if you know, act with a lot of, look at this. I'm on the freeway. What the hell am I doing, dude? I was just finding myself, trying to find my
Yeah.
passion for filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And,
that's still
and
developing. But I think
well,
what I'm trying to explain and showing that and the 49ers is that even up until this day, like I've been recently inspired to want to film for the 49ers, and I've been trying to make the right contacts because I've recently been filming with Michael Vick and his team at NSU with Smack Productions. They're from LA, but they're doing a documentary on him for BET. And that kind of reignited a passion or desire to want to work with the Niners. So Niners, if you're watching this, or what's her name, Serena Soriano, you got your cinematographer right here. I'm ready to go shoot with you guys.
awesome. Yeah, and speaking of which, because you mentioned Michael Vick here, let me make sure that and you took the time to share this. So this is like more behind the scenes, right? Oh, looks good.
This is definitely this is just social media behind the scenes, but it's social proof in the fact that I was able to, you know, capture these great athletes. My friend had actually had a job that was adjacent to working with Michael Vick. It was a mental health organization working in tandem with Michael Vick. So I got to DP that, and I think it was awesome. And then after that, you know, again, this goes back into being in the vicinity and playing the part and being confident in what you do. I ended up walking across one of the line producers for the production, for the BET production. And he's like, "Oh, wow, dude, that's some pretty good lighting work." I showed him my lighting, and then I showed him my big old camera. You know, you just, hold on. They say when you look the part, you know, you got to look the part. And this is the camera. This is an FX6 right here.
Nice.
I was rolling around with this and just pretty much made it known that I wanted to shoot with him and the crew officially. And then that got me some opportunities to work with NSU. I mean, being in the right place at the right time and just being in your, what is that? What is it when you're just being in your path or being where you're supposed to be?
Yeah.
It's just
yeah. Right where you're meant to be, kind of. And you put yourself in those positions. You surround yourself with the people that you want to work with, right?
Right.
Tell me the story about how you. And it's funny because I didn't even know you did a video for Gil, Small World. And one of my first guests, right? And an old friend. We knew each other from elementary school, Daly City.
Right.
And so, you know, sharing this. There you go. There's Gil.
Yes. So, Mr.
How'd you do that?
So, at the time, there was a company called Zyro, and we were trying to get them to plug up with us on the self-service kiosk. And I think that was a relationship I had with Melanie at that time, but she doesn't remember. So I had to send her a DM. I was like, "Hey, my name's Marvin. I used to work with Zyro, and we were trying to work with you guys, but I don't know what happened." Aside from that, I just want to use that as a reconnecting point and reach out to you guys to do social media content because I'll be traveling to the Bay for a week. I told her like that. She never responded. She left me on red. So I think I found her email, or I found some way to get a hold of them because that's how it happened. But I wanted to make it a thing that I wanted to highlight them because before this video, I had been trending and doing a lot of other Filipino restaurants in the East Coast. And this was like, you know, come back to the Bay where I'm from. So why not work with Senor Cici? And Melanie was like, "Bet, we'll get you in. And then this guy, what's his name? Franco Finn, I had DM'd him. He's the 49ers spokes person, I believe.
Oh.
No, the 49ers, you know what? I should talk to him about getting an in the Niners now.
Yeah.
But no,
That's what I love the show does.
Yeah, he's the hype man for the Warriors, actually.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, the Warriors. Okay.
I DM'd him and I said, you know what? I think this would be dope. You work with me as a foodie content creator with the skill set of a cinematographer. Let's collaborate. And
love it.
I think I gotta say this because when you look at my work, some people, and I say this again with humility, have equated me to the Filipino Anthony Bourdain. I wouldn't say that, but I've heard that before. In a sense, like, yeah, you're this foodie, you're going around, you're doing a docu style, and it's pretty dope, right? But I'm the one behind the camera and in front. I'm the one doing all the collaborations. So I'm not your typical foodie who's like, oh my God, you guys, come with me, right? And sorry if
influencers, yeah, TikTokers,
you know who
Gen
you
Z.
are. You like, oh
Gen
my
Z.
God, come with me to this hole in the wall. It's literally Chipotle.
It does, and they all sound the same. They're just now slightly Kardashian-ish, New York, LA.
I would love them for it.
Oh my gosh, that's what I found. Yeah.
It works because I found myself saving places to take my wife to. Oh my God, let's go try that.
Yeah. But you were saying, okay, so like you're dabbling with so many different things, like, and like that's how I found you. Thanks to you being so supportive of Filipino restaurants, but you also do other genres too. You don't just do Filipino restaurants. You love restaurants, fine dining or dining, anything related to food.
Exactly.
Right?
And
you love to travel.
Yes, I love to travel, and that's the inspiration for the travel came again from Andy too, because at the time he was this filmmaker who was doing a lot of travel content. So I aspired to be on that same level. And, you know, in retrospect, I kind of am doing that, but just with my own lane. I mean, there is a reason to why I started doing food content the way that I have been. And I want to show you that video. Hopefully.
Sure. Let me see if I can pull it.
Here we go. I did one video that went viral here in Virginia. And it was this video that told me I needed to go ahead and capitalize on this type of content. Check this out.
Okay, let me pull it up here. Me and my dual screen setting. And
do you try to keep? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and Angie's Bakery. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me make sure that I'm sharing it. It'll let me replay, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this video got over like 246 views. That's pretty cool. That's a lot. 10,000 likes, but it got a lot of virality because of what I said.
Yeah.
The video was like, it opened up with coming from the Bay Area, moving to Norfolk, Virginia after getting stationed here. There's nothing Filipino about this place in Norfolk. That's what I said. And then I said, but I discovered Virginia Beach, you know, and let me not fall into that whole like, let me discover, because I ain't no like.
Yeah.
It's not me, but yeah, I found out there's a lot more stuff in Virginia Beach. And people were like, this guy, man, just another Filipino guy from the Bay Area coming to our city talking about Filipino. He needs to check out all these other places, blah, 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 blah. Because when I was living on base in Norfolk, it was I didn't have a car at the time. So I was just so then a lot of my friends were like, yeah, I need to go to Virginia Beach more. And if you look at the comment section, people were just throwing a bunch of hate, like, who does this guy think he is? Norfolk has hella Filipino food. Try this place, try that place.
So
So
there's a
from
ton in Virginia Beach?
Virginia Beach and
Wow.
Norfolk and Norfolk. So that led me onto this whole journey to want to start capturing Filipino food, because that video that I created, and this I think this is a good talking point right here, was a video at the time that I put my own self in. When I say that, I mean I see what I really wanted to put out versus all of the other cookie cutter content that a lot of filmmakers put out, you know. And I just wanted to stay true to myself. And that video came out, it got the virality, and I responded to that. And I have been trending forward in that same direction. But now I'm being more curated and I'm being more intentional about the restaurants that I work with, because I've realized that I've slowly become this foodie in a place people look to me not just to find new places, but they categorize me to being a foodie influencer. And I beg to differ. I am a cinematographer who likes to highlight Filipino food and the food that I consume on my travels. And you know, people might, what do you think? Am I a foodie? I mean, yeah, to some extent I am a foodie, but I don't have the intention of making money off of being a foodie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
There's
get
a
it.
guy,
It takes a lot.
I showed you Adonis Eats. Like, he's a cool cat up in the Bay Area too. And I met him when I was in San Francisco. He actually came down to San Jose. We met up. And, you know, through my conversations with him, he's always been the type of person to be a community builder, that kind of foodie, where he just goes into support restaurants, put them on the map, and pay for his food. There are foodies who just want to be foodies for the hype, for the money, and I mean, it's a hustle, right?
Yeah, that's
Me, I
some competition.
and then I find myself in this medium where I run a video production company, and I've also kind of built this influence, a micro influence of, okay, this is the guy to follow for Filipino food, right? And I've taken all my skills as a cinematographer and kind of meshed the two. So that, in a sense, since we're here for Filipino Hustle Fridays, we're talking about an entrepreneurial aspect of it. It's kind of like one, it is marketing and it's making connections, it's networking, but two, it's also building relationships. So therefore, on the back end of these videos, we can create content or produce commercials for these places. Now, some people could raise an eyebrow to that, like, what's your tactic behind that? I would say a lot of the restaurants that I have done ever since have always been a place that I've patronized first, or at least done extensive research on the place before deciding, you know what, let me come out there. Because I think the other main difference is that there are foodies who are going everywhere just to try it, and they go off their off of the hype. I think there is a space for that, because you know, you could have honest foodie reviewers, and I think, you know, there's an audience for that.
Yeah. No, and I love, not only you have your skill set with the film and cinematography and storytelling, it's authentic to your culture with Filipino, you know, the Filipino aspect to it, and food. And I very much learned how much you really love food when you were very excited when your wife brought you nigiri. So I wish we had that on film, your reaction. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you should put on your personal accounts.
Yeah, right.
But you
I
should
embrace posting more
reaction videos.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know we're coming up on time. It went by so quick. I was wondering if, you know, if for other Filipino entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, what would you say now, 8 years into running a business and really in the hustle, traveling all over, even doing, complimentary work, not always getting paid for things, but it's worth the investment in time because you have to be strategic. And I think it is paying off really for you. So what would you say as your words of wisdom or advice?
So everyone can say, put your heart into it, put your mind into it, and just do the work, which I don't discount. But you also got to consider where you're at in your life. Are you working a full-time job right now? Are you going to school and you don't have money and you're going to school off of parents' money and you're being survived by your family? Who knows what situation you're in? But all I got to say is that in that specific situation that you're in, you got to ask yourself how you could sustain to take care of your bare necessities, whether that's paying rent, your phone bill, and eating, right? And if you can take care of those things with whatever you got going on part-time, but still pursue building your business on the side or building what it is that you want to do, then I think you're gravy. And then once you start getting more sufficient in your business or your side hustle, obviously that means you can let go of the other part of your situation that wouldn't benefit you being the entrepreneur you want to be. So to wrap that up in summary, pretty much work with what you got until you can work with what you want.
Love it. That's great. And is going back to your military days, because I want to make sure we share this because this is pretty cool. Is that part of what helps you, or brought you to your day job career initially? Like what brought you to the military, if you were to summarize really quick? And then here, let me make sure I can share that in the video while you talk about that.
So this was Neptune strike on my 2022 deployment with the Harry S. Truman. And this was showcased on the U.S. Navy YouTube page, and it's all over the DoD websites. If you just look down, my name is in the credits. But this video was done to showcase the life of a U.S. Navy sailor all around, from launching jets to getting helos ready to showing what the guys, the ABHs are doing to this is a squadron right here flying off a ship. So this is even like a POV. So dang, I just turned from talking about what I was doing in the Navy to describing the video. That's ADHD.
It's pretty cool.
Yes. So to answer your question, I had wanted to be in the military back when I was 18. And at the time I couldn't join because, I had a DUI at the time. Yes, Marvin G had a DUI. Yeah. And I couldn't go in. So I wanted to join the Navy. The Marines at the time, because I was super young, super gung-ho, but thank God, I couldn't get in at the time because I really wanted to go into infantry and just go fight battles, right? Yeah. But years passed on, that DUI fell off, and, I turned eligible to join the military. My brother was in the Navy too. So I decided, let me try again. So I joined the military. I got accepted. And this was all in lieu of me recently discovering the passion to become a filmmaker and create content. So I went into the Navy as an undesignated sailor, which means you get put wherever the Navy needs you. And I was put into this shop called the AS shop. It was an aviation support equipment community. And I had showed the media team that I can do video. They loved it. They ate it up. And as an unofficial media guy, they still let me shoot all of this amazing content and videos with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. And, shooting on the flight deck is dangerous, especially throughout all operations. You always got to keep your head on a swivel. And I think that's what I loved about it, because we have, as a creator and someone who has ADHD, keeping my head on a swivel kind of fuels me. So I'm like, ooh, what's this? Ah, okay, cool. Boom. We got a jet coming off right now. Bang, we got to film that. All right. And it's so much activity.
Yeah,
That,
I saw that.
that.
And it's a
So,
lot of, I mean, it's probably like you got to keep your balance, and it's probably really loud, all of that. But you know, it's a unique opportunity to be able to shoot that. So that was really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I really miss it.
Yeah, I would, yeah, I could imagine. I can't imagine personally, but no, it's a unique time in life, I'm sure. And so thank you for your service.
Hey, thanks for your
Anybody
support.
who's taken the time to be able to do that and you know, serve our country. Okay, so do you want to say anything to end with? I know you gave your words of wisdom, but if there's anything else that comes to mind, because I'm sure things do.
I'm probably going to say, I don't have anything to say, to be honest. And then I'm going to look back and be like, shoot, I should have said that.
Well, oh, okay. I did not even mention this because I usually do for my Filipino guests, like, you know, with your family. With your family upbringing and everything, I'm sure it's different when, you know, your parents or, you know, whether it's a single parent or whoever helped raise you. And we grew up here, like grew up in America. We didn't experience that whole thing of, but, you know, seeing the sacrifices they made, and we got the benefit of being here in the country. So if you want to give a shout out to family or anything that you'd like to say in retrospect.
You know, actually, yeah, let me say this. As a Filipino American, there's so much this us versus them mentality, especially when it comes to Philippine-born Filipinos and Filipino Americans.
It's true.
And ironically, I speak more Spanish, which is what they would say is it's absolutely the colonizer language. I speak more Spanish than I do Tagalog. And when people find that about me, they're like, dang, so dismissive. Like, this Filipino doesn't even speak English. And what, he speaks Spanish? I mean, I'm from California. I grew up with a bunch of Mexicans and people who spoke Spanish. Like, it's Filipinos, Mexicans, and congregating in the South Bay, especially like San Jose.
True. Yeah.
That's all I have. And I was just hearing a whole bunch of Spanish growing up. And, you know, I ended up meeting my wife who only spoke Spanish. So that's how I was able to speak Spanish fluently. But to go back to what I was saying at the heart of being a Filipino American, I didn't discover this pride for being a Filipino American until I did all of these videos recently. And that's because growing up, I was always being bullied for being Asian. Right? So I remember when I used to live in Virginia for the time being back in 2000, I think my brother was in the Navy, and I grew up in a situation where I was the only Filipino at an all black and white school in Portsmouth. And I was getting bullied, and people were calling me Bruce Lee looking surfer ass, Tink, right?
Now it's cool to be Asian.
Yeah, and I started hating myself for it. Are we good on time?
No, keep going. Yeah.
All right. I started hating myself for it internally. It grew inside me, this own hate for myself. I hated my Asian eyes. I hated my flat nose, right? I mean, that's a Filipino characteristics. So moving back to California after that, because we were getting robbed too a lot in Portsmouth.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people tried to break into my brother's apartment. They stole his motorcycle, and my mom was like, I can't do this. It's not worth it. So we went back to the Bay Area, and I just had this hate for my identity as a Filipino, and which caused me to be more closer to the Mexicans I grew up with. So I started, you know, resembling this Mexican identity, this, you know, I'm not Filipino. I was hanging out with the homeboys, the homies. Hey, what's up, fool? What's cracking, right? Hey, right? Hanging out, drinking at the park, and then I walked into this lifestyle of trying to find the right friends, and I found them in the street life. And, at the time, it was a bunch of gangbangers.
Yeah. There was a lot of that in the Bay Area when I was younger too.
Right. And, I think I wouldn't say I was gangbanging at the time, but I was just associated trying to find an identity among people. The hate that I had experienced in Portsmouth. And, I lived that life for quite a while until I started coming more to know Christ. I'm a Christian and I believe it's Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And I gave my life to Christ, and I decided to lean into that. And because of that, I started to learn to love myself more. My mom started sharing a lot more stories with me. She's like, Marvin, I didn't want you to learn Tagalog because, they were already bullying you. Imagine if you already had a more Filipino accent, how much worse it could have been. Then she started telling me a whole bunch of these things, and she goes, be proud of your Filipino heritage, And I've been to the Philippines like 5 different times. So that's another thing to all you Filipino American haters. Like, I've been to the Philippines plenty of times, for months at a time. So, what? Shoot, there are a bunch of Philams who haven't even been this week, but I can say I've been back. But it's all love.
Yeah.
It's all love. So, yeah, with everything that's been going on about, different cultures having breakthroughs, I'm glad that Filipino culture is having a breakthrough. And I take pride in my Filipino identity. As a Filipino American, I take pride in it now because my mom came here. She created a foundation for me to be who I am now. A single mom, far away from another country, came here, worked 2 jobs, and she did it all by herself. And she was a strong, prayerful mother. And, those prayers were answered. And I'm living in the success that I believe that, she prayed for. And she goes, Marvin, I'm so proud of you. There's many times where I thought that you would have died. There's many times where I figured, like she goes, I'd rather you be in jail than the life that you were living because I know where you would be. You'd be safe. But, in due time, I started leaning into my relationship with God and trusting him in everything that I do, which is also what I wanted to say back then. Like, I put my trust in him and said, this is what I want to do. Take it. So, yeah, I think that's all I got to say. And as far as being a Filipino American and owning that, I think it's cool. I mean, we had Pacquiao. That was an era. And then now we have Filipino food, which is now becoming this era where we're not infiltrating, but we are getting
dominating.
You kind of are because there's a bunch of doing fusion foods as the entry point of Filipino taste. And then back then, like, oh, but hey, I got sisig. You want to try sisig? Right? You want to try the dish for what it actually is, like Senor Sisig. So yeah, I think, yeah,
that's
whatever
awesome. And thank you so much for sharing that side of your story. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad we got to capture that and stay on a little longer. And thanks for taking the time. This is awesome. Keep in touch.
Yeah. Thank you. I really hope everything I had to say could be helpful for the people who watch this, because I never really shared that story publicly. And I could go into that story with even more deeper, darker details about my upbringing, but with the time and the sensitivity of it all, and, that doesn't define me anymore.
Right. Yeah. And if anything, you can either get a book, there's a story to tell, I know, or documentary, since you're great at doing that.
Right.
I think more Filipino stories need to be told, and I believe you're going to be part of that journey and making that happen for our community. You're doing it with restaurants and hopefully maybe your own documentary.
Dang, autobiography video style? What?
No, there's so many. Like I have a wish list of people I want to interview. There's so many talented Filipinos over the generations, especially Filipino Americans that, like the chef. Her name escapes me, but she worked for the White House for many years.
The Filipino chef, yeah.
Yeah. Like you would be the great person to work with to talk about her story. Look at you're like all surprised. You can do it. You can do it.
Current chef right now for the president?
She retired. She did multiple. I think she was for if it was Bush, Clinton, I think Trump for a little bit before, and then it was like several. We can look it up again, but yeah, that's on my wish list. I want to interview her. I just need to get. Yeah. I need to get a hold of her.
Oh, she was for Trump, Bush, Obama, and Biden.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
I know, and most of our Filipino community don't even know. So,
yo, I might have to reach out.
You got to put me down as producer.
Yeah. You know what? If you can get her together, we could partner up and
heck yeah.
60 minutes.
Yes. Let's get our sponsors lined up to make it happen. Thank you so much, Marvin. Hang on tight and for those of you, if you are watching this, check out his website, follow him on social. He's going to keep telling stories. And Marvin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good day. Thank you so much.